We will continue the discussion of polymorphism, and we will study something new also. So if you remember, we studied in last class that polymorphism has two requirements. One is a virtual member function in a base class and derived class. So there must be a virtual function, one condition. Another condition was that mm, the polymorphism, yeah, are the function who play the main role in a as a polymorphic function. That function will have the argument as a reference or uh, pointer to the base class. Okay, so these two conditions, if we fulfill, then we can have polymorphism. So now, but there is again one issue with the base class pointer or with the base class reference. The problem is that the base class pointer, even though we assign a derived class object to the pointer or to the reference variable, but still they only know about member function of the base class. Okay, so it is like this, that actually we have a base class uh, pointer. So let's suppose this is a base class pointer, and we put inside, meaning to say we assign a derived class object to it, but this pointer only know base class functions. So meaning to say it can only call those functions which are in present in base class, or which are redefined in the derived class. So meaning to say, if we want to access the functions in a derived classes, we still cannot access that one. So what does it mean? Maybe it is still a bit confusing for you. Let's come to the example, then hopefully it will be clear to you. I will try to explain again. So it is the same class that we are studying from quite a long time. So this one is pass fail activity. Okay, so pass fail activity, you see it has the minimum passing score. Okay, and this one has okay, there is the grade activity also. Yeah, this grade activity, you see the grade activity, each this function only tells us about the grade. And the pass fail exam, this one tells us the passing or failing criteria, that the student is pass or fail. I think is this one. Yeah, that the student is pass or fail. Okay, is it the same one? Let me check once again. So pass fail exam. Okay, and pass fail exam is inheriting pass fail activity. Okay, so pass fail activity. Yeah. Okay. Now you see the structure is like this, that pass fail activity is first one class. Okay, it has uh, minimum passing score, default constructor, and overloaded constructor, and set the minimum passing score, and get the minimum passing score, and get later this one. Okay, but this one is not virtual. Now maybe I am using another one. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we can change the same one to virtual. Okay, so this one, the pass fail activity, it returns the letter grade. This is the main function. And the other one, pass fail exam, this one, you see, if there are number of questions, points for each question, and number of missing questions, and then default constructor and overloaded constructor. This one is the set uh, function, and this set function is defined outside here. And you see this one is setting the minimum score and the questions and the missing number of missed score, and then calculates the points for each. Okay, and then after that it set the score in parent class, which is pass fail activity. This pass fail exam class is indirectly inherited from this one also, because you see the pass fail exam is inherited from pass fail activity, this one, and this pass fail activity is inherited from grade activity, which is this one, and this grade activity has the set score function, this one, set score function. So therefore you see, if the pass fail exam, here it calls the set score function. So this set score function is in the is the grandparent class. Okay, so I hope it is quite common, because we repeat it several times. Sometimes it is a bit confusing that okay, this function is where, but we will try to find out. If you are still confused, then I will go through once again, and please, you can stop me every time. Okay, now I was trying to explain to you that you see here this main function. In this main function, this is the function that we want polymorphic behavior from it, and this one is, you see, using asterisk. Asterisk means that it will accept a pointer. Okay, now in the main class, in the main function, this one is today a new thing. So in the main function, I define one constant variable with the size 4, because I am using this in an array. So you see, grade activity, if you look at this, this is the grandparent. Okay, grade activity is the parent for pass fail activity, and pass fail activity is the parent for pass fail exam. Okay, so now the base class pointer, you see this one. So here this one is actually an array, a array of size 4, and we are dynamically creating objects. Note the point, whenever you are using this new operator means that this, you see, constructor is called of the grade activity, but there is no variable name, so it will be dynamic variable with no name. Okay, it is exactly like equal to like this, like grade activity, and if I create some object, like let's suppose obj, and pass the value 88.0, it is exactly equal to like this. But the difference is that now you see, in this case we are giving name to the object very explicitly, but here the object don't have any name, but when the code runs, the new will create a new object of the base class, and this object will be stored in this array at location 0. The next constructor will create pass fail exam, which is a derived class, the derived class object, and you see, this object will be also assigned to the same array whose type is a parent class. So the array has a parent class, but we are storing one parent class object, another child class object, again parent class object, and child class object. So array of 4 objects, and 2 of them are base class objects and 2 of them are derived class objects. And this array is, you should not be confused. Every array must have a data type, like int, integer array, float array, but in this case this array is of grade activity. Okay, so grade activity array. Now what here in the for loop, what we are doing, we are calling this display grade function, which is defined here, which is declared here and defined outside here, and it accepts a pointer of the base class. Okay, now from the first time when the for loop, the count equal to 0, then display grade, sorry, this test count will be sent. So the object which is stored at 0 location will send as a argument to this function. And if you come here, you see at 0 location is a parent class object. Okay, so parent class object is calling parent class function. So set precision, the get score and get letter head, it will be accessed, and we will see the grade letter for this guy. Second one, count will increment, and at the second place is derived class object, and this time we are passing the derived class object as an argument to this function. Okay, this time you see the object is derived class, but the pointer is of parent class, but still we can assign. Okay, now this pointer is calling these functions. So you see these functions are those functions which are redefined in the child class and present in a base class also. Okay, are virtual. You can say this one is the virtual function also. Okay, now until this point is no issue. We can see in the same for the third place again the parent class object, fourth place child class object. So the loop will call 4 times and we can see the result. It is exactly like a previous class time. Fine. So pass fail activity. Let me copy this one. Yeah, I will just quickly copy from here and pass fail activity and we'll define here. Yeah, so hopefully now it will not give an error. Yeah, so you see we got the first one is a parent class object. We define, if you remember, if you see, we pass the value 88. So the value 88 and grade is B. So parent class object, and in a parent class object it will return the grading style. Child class object, you see this one. Now the child class object is again calling it's again returning the grade class. Okay, it's now here if you see it will be the child class object and calling its own function but cannot call. Why? The problem is this one, that actually base class pointers and reference only know about members of the base class. They don't know the members about the child class. Okay, so this is why we cannot call. So you see compiler gives an error here. So the conclusion of this whole discussion is that even though we are passing here a pointer of sometime parent class, sometime child class, but you see the pointer only know about parent class functions. It cannot call child class function. This is a problem with the pointer. Okay, next one is a difference between a redefining and overriding. So when a class redefines a virtual function, it is said that the class override the function. You see, when there is a virtual function in a parent class and the child class also use the same function, then and the child class also define the virtual function, so it overrides. Okay, in C++, the difference between overriding and redefining base class function is that overridden functions are dynamically bound, okay, and the redefined functions are statically bound. So it means that if there is a question about redefining and overriding, so overriding is always dynamic binding. It uses virtual functions, and redefining may not use virtual functions. Okay, and it will be static binding. So using the redefining we cannot get polymorphism. Using overriding we can get polymorphism. So this is the difference between a redefining and overriding. And the same thing, like the is a relationship does not work in a reverse way. We talk about this many times, like a hornbill is a bird, okay, but every bird is not a hornbill. It is like this. Okay, so in the same way, like the final exam is a grade activity. This is true, but a grade activity is a final exam is not true. Any grade activity is not a final exam. For example, group assignment, individual assignment, okay, lab test, these are grade activity, but they are not final exam. But final exam is a grade activity. So in this way, the first one is true, that final exam is a grading process, but every grading process is not a final exam. Okay, so in this way, if you see here, you see grade activity, which is a parent class, we create a pointer of that, but we can okay, now we can assign grade activity object to this. So this will work. This line will work. But the second one, you see, if we create pointer of child class and assign object of parent class, it will not work. It means that every activity, every grading activity is not a final exam. This one only accept final exam, okay? And if you try to assign grade activity, it cannot work. Compiler will give you error. So it's the same thing like we discussed many times that uh, a hornbill is a bird. So the hornbill object we can assign to a bird uh, class pointer, but uh, we cannot assign bird class object to a hornbill pointer. You see, the child pointer cannot accept parent class parent class object. So simply the is a relationship is not working in a reverse way. Okay, next thing, virtual destructor. This one I think I have one. Yeah, I think I have one example for this. This one is virtual destructor. No, for this one I think I don't have. Okay, so let's go ahead. Sorry. Okay, virtual destructor. Virtual destructor, you see, like the binding and overriding concept. Remember that one. I am repeating once again. The binding and overriding concept is like this: that if we are using binding, sorry, okay, the binding, sorry, overriding. If we use overriding, one function is here and we override the same function here, then the decision is based during compile time, it is static binding, and during static binding it will every time call parent class construct parent class function. Now in overriding, every time parent class function will be called. Why? Because of the static binding decision. So if this function is a destructor, so destructor is also a function. If here is one destructor in a parent class and we derived a child class, okay, then in the same way to the pointer of base class pointer, we assign child class object. Then due to the redefining problem, which makes the static binding, so it means that every time parent class destructor will call and never the child class destructor will never call. So if the child class destructor never call, it means we cannot remove the child class object from memory. So it creates a problem. So the solution for this is that whenever you use uh, in a base class destructor, so whenever you are defining destructor in base class, make the destructor virtual. Okay, make the destructor virtual. Otherwise, the problem will be what? The problem will be that child class object will be never deleted. It will be never deleted from the memory. Okay, what does it mean? I have one example for this. You see, I hope you can see clearly. So this is a simple class animal. This has a public function constructor, okay, public constructor and destructor, okay. And we derive another class dog from this animal class. And you see, this is the dog class constructor and this one is the dog class uh, destructor. So parent class also has constructor and destructor, and child class also has destructor and constructor. Very simple. You see, parent class has a constructor, parent class has a destructor. Then child class also has a constructor and child class also has a destructor. Now, you see, it is like this, that this after inheritance, this will be redefined here, okay, like redefinition of a function. So in the int main, if we create animal is a base class pointer and assign object of the child class. Animal is base class, dog is a child class. So to base class, we assign object of child class. Now, if we delete this object, so if you remember in the previous example also, that base class pointer only know about base class functions. So when we delete this uh, object, this object is pointing to base class, so it will call base class destructor, this one. Okay, it will not call child class destructor. So if when it doesn't call child class destructor, what will happen? Actually, we have created object of child class. So the child class object is in a memory, but the destructor is not removing because destructor is executing of the base class. So as a result, there will be wrong values, wrong garbage variables in the memory. Okay, so if we run this one, hopefully it will be clear to you. If you see here, you see when the object is created, animal constructor is called because parents will be created first, and then child constructor is called, and you see only animal destructor is calling. Even though the dog is a child class, we created child class object, we didn't created any parent class object, but the destructor is calling parent class destructor. So if there is any parent class object, they will be removed from memory. But in our case, the object is of child class, it is not of parent class, so it will be never removed from the memory. This is the problem of the pointer, that parent class pointer only know about parent class functions. Okay, so what to do? What's the solution for this problem? The solution for this problem is that make the destructor virtual. Okay, so let's make this destructor also virtual. This one also virtual, and let's make this one also virtual. If we didn't make this one virtual also, I think still will work. Okay, so if we save this one now, and run again, now you see we have parent class constructor because parent will be created first. I hope you can see. Then child class constructor, then child destructor first. Children will be deleted first. Okay, and then animal class destructor. So the main point until now is that parent class pointer only know about parent class functions. So to solve this problem, okay, to solve this problem, make the functions even destructors also, okay, because destructor is also a type of function. Make them virtual, then the decision will be based at dynamic time, and dynamic time compiler will look at the object actually, not at the pointer. So it will look at the object, which object is it? If it is a child class object, then child class destructor and constructors will be called. There is a question that the new operator is accompanied with a pointer. Yes, the new operator can only work with a pointer. Why? Because new operator is creating object during runtime. It is not creating during compile time. The new operator only create object during runtime, and in runtime you see it will be like anonymous object, there is no name for that. Okay, it is sometimes called intermediate objects also, because we don't see during the process they are created and during the process they are deleted. Okay, so it must be used with a pointer, because when it is created it doesn't have any name, so we cannot access this object by name. We can only access through address, and address can only be stored in a pointer. Therefore, the new object must be accompanied by a pointer. Without a pointer, we cannot use new operator. That is a very good question. I should explain, but I forgot at the beginning actually. In a parent class, we should make the destructors virtual, because when there are child class objects, then they will be cleaned properly. Next topic, yes, yes, this one, you see, a good programming practice to follow is that any class that has a virtual member function should also have a virtual destructor. Yeah, you see, this is a plus point, that if there is any virtual member function, meaning to say you want some polymorphic behavior. So in a polymorphic behavior means that to parent class pointer, there is a possibility that we will assign child class object. So if you are assigning child class object to parent class pointer, then the destructor must be virtual. Otherwise, child class objects will be not clean from memory. Okay, so to make this thing very clear, and to explicitly confirm that the override and the virtual function like overriding and redefining should be very clear, then C++11 introduced override keyword. Okay, this keyword help prevent the subtle error when overriding. Meaning to say, when we are overriding, then the compiler will make sure that the functions from parent class will be overridden. It will be not redefined. If it is redefined, then will be static binding, and if it is overriding, then will be dynamic binding. So to make sure that are to force the compiler to do overriding, not redefining, then use the override function. Overriding virtual functions should be like this. Yeah, for example, can you okay, here is one example. I will show you that one. Uh, the function the is okay with override keyword. Virtual destructor, this one. Yeah, if you look at this one, okay, this is a base class with the name base. It has a public function. It is virtual, you see, it is virtual. Function name is function a. It has one integer argument. Okay, I am not talking about the keyword override now. I'm showing one problem first. Okay, and to remove this problem, we will use the override word. So the base class has a function name function a. It has integer argument, and this display just a message. We derive a class, derived class from this base class. This also has the same function, you see, the same name. So when there is a same name, okay, and virtual function and same name, we expect overriding. Overriding means we expect that the compiler will decide at runtime. There should be the polymorphic behavior, okay, and there will be dynamic binding. But you see, actually here is a small problem. This function has a long argument. This function has integer argument. The function names are same. Okay. Now the scenario in int main is almost the same. You see, base class pointer and child class object, and child class pointer and child class object. This one is okay. The second one is okay. The problem is in the first one. The container is of base class, the pointer is of base class, the object is of derived class. Okay, now we are calling this function, and here we are calling this function, okay, the function a. So let's see the result, that which function will be called. You see here, I think I should use a bit new line, that it should go a bit down, and at the end that it should go a bit down. Okay, save it now. You see, the scenario is like this, that base class object b and child class, sorry, base class pointer and child class object, we are calling here with base class pointer the function. So the object is of derived class. We expect that the derived class function should be called. But you know that the parent class pointer only know about parent class function. So this will call, the first line will be parent class function, base class function. It will display this message, even though the object is of child class. You see, this is base class function A. The object to us that we assign is actually derived class to B, and this B is calling this function A class at line number 24, but it displaying a base class function. Okay, the second one is okay. Pointer is also of derived class, object is also of derived class, so it will call derived class function. That is okay. So what's the problem in this program? Can you find out the issue? Why? You see, we use virtual words. So the virtual word should make sure overriding, not redefining. The decision should be changed to dynamic, but it is still not like that. It is still going to base class function. Do you have any idea? What's the problem? Okay, if you don't have idea, I will show you. The problem is actually this, that you see the arguments are different. This is integer argument, this is long argument, so the arguments are different. So a function having same name but different argument, this is called overloading. Okay, it is not overriding. So overloading is different thing and overriding is different thing. So overloading will not change the situation to dynamic binding. So one way, but to make, you see, if I just change this argument to int, you see, this was the issue. If I change this one to int, okay, and if I run again, you see, again, now this time is okay. You see, derived class function. So now what happened? The process changed from overloading to overriding. Same function name, same type argument means overriding. Same function name, different arguments. If I change this one to long, okay, different arguments, then it will become overloading. So this was the issue. Okay, now the second one, if we want to remove this error, and another point, that if we explicitly make sure that the compiler change to dynamic behavior, then we should use the word override. You see here, this is a new example, the same example but modified one. You see, the same function, integer argument, same function, integer argument, but explicitly tell the compiler to use override, don't use overload. Okay, don't use overloading, don't use redefinition. Okay, must override. Then this keyword make sure that compiler will do the child class object at this point. Okay, so if I run this one, so is 100% sure that derived class function and derived class function. So this is a new keyword in C++11 that use the override operator. It will force the compiler to dynamic binding. Next thing is, okay, preventing a member function from being overridden. You might want, okay, now opposite of what? You see here, we want that the function must be override. Then we use override function. Sometimes if you want to explicitly stop the compiler from overriding, okay, they don't do overriding. Or why? Because sometimes some functions, you see, you might want to make sure that the virtual member function cannot be overridden any further down in the class hierarchy. Okay, So it is, for example, like this, that if let's suppose we have class A and we derived a class B from this, so from here to here we want overriding, we want dynamic behavior, then we will use the override keyword, and we will use the virtual functions, that the functions both must be override. But let's suppose the class B has some function here, and you don't want that this function further override in a next class. For example, if we inherit class C from class B, and we want that this function should not override here, okay, the overriding should be stopped at this level, then there is another word introduced by C++11, which is the final keyword. Okay, and this final keyword uses this final keyword stops the overriding process. When a member function is declared with the final keyword, it cannot be overridden in the derived class. The following member function prototype is an example of the final keyword. It is like this, you see, virtual void message, okay, but final, meaning to say further it should not be override. Okay, if a derived class attempts to override the final member function, the compiler will generate an error. So the error will be at compile time. Then the programmer can understand that, oh, I should not redefine, I should not override this function anymore because it is final. Okay, so these are new keywords in C++11. Okay, another new topic, abstract base classes and pure virtual functions. What does it mean? Abstract base class is such a class, okay, is such a class that only contain okay, this, I think let's go to this one first. Yeah, abstract base class is such a class which can have no object. Abstract class, we cannot create objects of abstract class. So you see, to stop the confusion and to stop the problems that we were having previously, this new concept, the abstract class, introduces in such a way that, okay, all the generic properties of some object, let's suppose like a student is a generic concept, so all the generic concept defined in a abstract base class, and then the specific functionality like student of UNIMAS, student of FSKPM, and student of cognitive science. So special classes will be derived from the abstract base class, but abstract class will have no object. If no object, then there will be no confusion, and the problems that we are using like a dynamic binding and static binding in the previous one, so that will be stopped. So how to make a class abstract base class? A class becomes abstract base class when one or more of its functions is pure virtual function. You see, until now we were studying virtual function. Now there is another keyword, pure virtual function. So when we make a function in a base class, pure virtual function, then the whole class change to abstract base class. And when it changed to abstract base class, then we cannot create objects of it. This class can only be used for derivation process. We can derive classes from this. We cannot create object of this. So abstract base class cannot be instantiated, meaning to say it cannot have object. But other classes are derived from it. A pure virtual function is a virtual function of a base class that must be overridden. And when a class contains a pure virtual function, that class becomes an abstract base class. Now the question is how to make a pure virtual function. So a pure virtual function must be overridden in a derived class, and abstract class contains that pure virtual function. But how to make a function pure virtual? So you see, virtual, the keyword virtual is there, the return type, the function name, okay. But you see, we may a new change equal to 0. Actually, it is not assignment operator, okay. It doesn't mean that the function is assigned to 0. or 0 is assigned to the, sorry, the 0 is assigned to the function. No, it is only instruction to the compiler that this y function is not only virtual, but it is pure virtual function. Okay, it is a pure virtual function. So the equal to 0 indicates pure virtual function and must have no function definition in the base class. Meaning to say, it will be only declared like this. It will not have function body. Okay, it will don't have any function body. So when any function, any class have this type of function, then the function become pure virtual function, and the class become, because of this pure virtual function, the whole class change to abstract class. And when a class is changed to abstract class, then we cannot create object of that. Okay, so I will show you one example of this. Okay, let me show you one example of this pure virtual function and abstract base class. Abstract base class dot h. You see here in this abstract base class, as I told you, that the abstract base classes we are using only for derivation process. We want to derive classes from this, we don't create object of that. So if we just want to derive other classes from this, then the only general properties of the object will be in this class. So like a student, you see class student. So student is a generic concept. It may be a school student, it may be primary class, secondary class, master class. Okay, it can be any class student. So student have general properties. It has a name, it has ID number, and it has year admitted. So general properties of this. Default constructor. Okay, overloaded constructor. You see the overloading and overriding, okay, and redefinition. The overloading, why we call overloaded constructor? Because there is a difference between the argument. A function, same name, different argument is overloading. Okay, this is why we call overloaded constructor. Now set function, which will set all the values, name, ID number, and year. And accessor function, get name, get ID number, get year admitted. The main point is this one. You see, this base class has a pure virtual function, and this pure virtual function, if you remember in the previous example, every virtual functions we were defining outside the class, okay, there must be a proper definition. This is called only declaration. There must be a proper definition of this class if it is not a pure virtual function. So it is a pure virtual because we make this equal to 0. So once we define this pure virtual function in this base class, so the whole class change to uh, abstract base class. Now another class we are deriving from this, which is computer science student, CS, yeah, this one, CS student.h. Okay, so you see the base class was general class. Okay, and that was having the general attributes. Now a computer science student, now you see it is a specific student now. So this specific student have specific properties now. Okay, this is why we created 4 constants here, and this computer science student is inherited publicly from the student class, and it has, you see, math hours, computer science hours, and general education hours. So you see these 3 properties are unique because of the computer science student. Now, and this one is derived from the student class, and student class is a abstract base class. And remember, whenever is abstract base class, that abstract base class has a pure virtual function, this one. So the pure virtual function is compulsory for derived classes that must be redefined. Okay, so its constructors, its accessor, mutator functions. Okay, and you see this virtual function, but here you see it is not a pure virtual function. It is simple virtual function, the same name, get remaining hour. And if you go to base abstract base class, the same name, but is pure virtual function. So the only condition is that this function must be defined by child class. And you see, in a parent class, it doesn't have any body, but in a child class, it has a proper definition. The body is there. So we are defining outside the class. This is why we are using class name, scope resolution operator, the function name, and you see all the coding that in this remaining hours, and the remaining hours are what? The maths hour, the computer science hour, the general education hour, all these should be added together, and this will be the total hour, and these total hours will be returned. Okay, so now in the computer science student.cpp, meaning to say we are going to integer main now to demonstrate this pure virtual function and abstract base class functionality. So int main, we are creating computer science student constructor, sending passing the arguments, set math hour, set these all values are set, and then just display the values. Okay, so what happened, this abstract class, if you want to create its object here in the int main, you see it will give you an error. Let me try. Its name is abstract abstract base student, abstract base student, and if I create object of it, okay, so you see abstract base student, yeah, just to make sure the spelling, let's copy the name from here to make sure that the error is not of spelling error. So you see this error, abstract, this is undefined, meaning to say we cannot define, we cannot create object of this class. Even though you see now is compile time error, you cannot go, even the program cannot run. So compile time error is better than runtime errors. Okay, so comment this one. So if you comment, everything will become okay again. Now we can run this class. Yeah, so we can get the. So the conclusion is that any generic type of properties put in a base class, and then that make that base class abstract base class. And how to make it abstract base class? Make a pure virtual, declare a pure virtual function in that class. So once you define a pure virtual function in that class, it becomes abstract base class. Okay, so this abstract base class is just a template for derived classes, for child classes. It can it can only be have, or it can only be used for derivation process. Okay, and child class will must implement this function, the pure virtual function. It is compulsory to define. Okay, if you delete this one or comment, you see the pure virtual function, which is, if you delete this one, you will get compiler error. Okay, so this is a good way that we get compiler error, then we can fix the error on time.